Hey guys, welcome back to the show, and on this episode it looks like we'll be going back to the well once again for another Neil Breen masterpiece. Because what's better than a movie with Neil Breen? Well, the answer is a movie with two Neil Breens, and that's exactly what Neil has done here. Just when I thought he couldn't outdo himself, the madman goes and does it again. This new movie is called Twisted Pair, but don't worry, we won't be seeing his bag in this film. The title is referring to something other than a medical emergency I wouldn't wish on any man. And that makes me realize we haven't seen Neil naked for 2 consecutive films now, I believe. Yeah. So that makes me wonder, maybe it's over. Maybe that's the end of it. Maybe Neil has retired from on-screen nudity. And you know what? I probably just jinxed it. I probably did it. I just jinxed it. Great going, Mark. The next movie is probably gonna have like a 5-minute, just full frontal, that's basically gonna be the first scene of the movie. It's just him standing there, just dong out, like hanging dong like he's never hung dong before. So as you might expect, this movie has a lot of similarities to Neil's other films. The biggest being that by the end of it, you really have no idea what just happened, or what the movie was about, or why you watched it. The movie starts with Neil talking about how his name is Cade, and that he has a twin brother, Kale. During this time, we're forced to watch stock footage, which really doesn't look like it's from 50 years ago, of 2 kids eating chopped up hot dogs with ketchup and playing on the beach. By the way, Neil throws in a mention of their dog here, just to, really try and link this footage. And then suddenly there was a flash of light and they were abducted by an alien wearing a really crappy rubber mask. I'm surprised he didn't use the same mask that he used in I Am Here Now. That would make so much sense, just to connect the whole Breen universe, I would kind of like that. If like the alien that's doing all this shit is the same alien from that movie, which is Neil. I guess the aliens then reprogrammed their DNA and made them humanoids with special powers. Then Neil starts talking about artificial intelligence and how it's advancing. Not really sure what this has to do with anything. Now, when I did my video on Neil's last film, I mentioned that he was working on a new movie and it would probably have a lot of the same stuff in it. And lo and behold, that's exactly what happened. Just like his last film, Neil throws out all these terms like artificial intelligence, and I really don't see what they have to do with anything. This movie has even more of these terms just thrown out again and again, constantly, all the time. Anyways, apparently Kale failed at his missions over the years, so the aliens took away his powers. Kind of curious as to what those missions were. That's the movie we really want to see here. Why'd the aliens do this? What did they make you do? What was your objective? What was their objective? You start off the film talking about how, you had your twin brothers and you were abducted by aliens and, you were, made into humanoids or whatever. Okay, well, let's see that. What happened then? Then we just skip to, 50 years later, and the movie has nothing to do with any of that stuff. So, you're just skipping the most interesting ideas to give us what? I don't even know. I guess this is the alien planet, and here we have this effect with Cade and Kale walking towards the camera. But the problem is that the perspective is wrong, so you end up just scaling the image. And even this is still done poorly. Look at this. Is one of them a giant? Just look at what happens when you try to match them up in the end, size-wise. Watch the feet here. So I guess the aliens were like those parents who just have to dress their twins up in the exact same outfit with the exact same haircut. This next stock footage clip is supposed to show the aliens developing new systems for him and increasing his powers. And no offense to Neil here, but I'm having a hard time believing that this is supposed to represent his body. Next we have him I guess, taking part in the planning of his own advancements. I don't know what's going on here. Don't know what his hand is doing here. Something about synthetic brain power. Don't really know what this clip is supposed to show, but it doesn't really fit. Here he is talking about how wonderful nature is while smelling an eagle and stroking a tree trunk. Okay, I'm warning you right now, this video might take a while because with all of Neil's films, there's usually something to talk about in pretty much every scene, every shot. So here, Cade uses his superpowers to fly into a building. And this is weird. I mean, it's supposed to look like the soldiers are standing there waiting for him to lead, but this is obviously a freeze frame. I mean, they're in motion.
Follow me. They can't hurt me. You won't get hurt.
I'm not exactly sure what's going on here because it's not like the character is actually saying this to them. Like, his mouth isn't even moving, so... what? Like, is this just supposed to be narration? To who? I also like how we're supposed to believe that these soldiers wouldn't move even if there was an explosion going off in the room. And when they finally do move, or I guess I should say when Neil hits play on the stock footage, the explosions follow them. Follows the footage because it wasn't tracked. So then Cade just suddenly appears outside and flies to safety right before the entire building explodes. Well, what about the soldiers? You told them to follow you and they wouldn't get hurt. Well, I don't see them escaping with you, so I can just assume that they died. Also, just another editing note here. After the close-up, we go back to the wide, and for a single frame, Neil's not even there. The footage isn't even in the shot. Then we have this cool slow-mo stock footage of some soldiers before Cade decides to give them false hope as well.
Wait. Wait. Let me go first. I'll protect you. I'll protect you. Follow me.
Again, his mouth isn't even moving here. And look what happens at the end. You gotta either cut the shot before it gets to this point or make another layer of those soldiers for your footage to get behind. Otherwise, it looks like there is an absurd size difference here. And what do you mean you're gonna protect them? That didn't work out so well with the others now, did it? Also, I have no idea what's going on here. This all just seems like fluff to try and build up this character into having these incredible powers, but all we're seeing is him failing at what he promised to do. Protect these people.
Another defeat for the forces of evil.
And look, again, it's just him walking out of the rubble. How is this another defeat for the forces of evil? Looks to me like the bombs went off, the buildings were destroyed, and people died. So what exactly was well done here? What did he do? I also love this shot, which is clearly stock footage advertising a private jet service. It's always good when the footage you're composing on top of is shot at a different frame rate. Or who knows, maybe she just moves in slow motion all the time. So Cade gets back to, I don't know, whatever this is, mission control, and proceeds to carelessly throw his firearms onto the ottoman. But then again, what do I know? Maybe this is just typical procedure for a artificial intelligence, alien, superhero, secret agent, humanoid, cyborg thing.
You ready for your next mission?
Sure.
Programmable virtual reality, the corrupt version.
A limitless digital universe, connecting all shared virtual reality. Digital tribes.
Okay, so what's the actual mission? These are just vague sci-fi descriptions thrown together. Like, what do we got here? Corrupt virtual reality? Digital tribes? A limitless digital universe connecting all shared virtual reality? What? What does this mean and what does it have to do with anything? Spoiler alert, nothing! Throw in as much terminology as we possibly can. Just create things. Add the word corrupt to something else to make it sound really cool. Corrupted DNA. Programmable corruption. I gotta make like a Neil Breen game. Just try it when you're bored. Just write down a few of these words on like pieces of paper and just mix them around. Corrupt, programmable, limitless, digital universes. See? That's ooh. Black market DNA hacking. Programmable virtual memory systems. You know what? That's the game for the comment section. Try and take some of these words you hear throughout the movie and just like come up with new terms. Just throw them together and come up with some good ones. Just tell us what the mission is. Imagine like seeing the new James Bond movie and James Bond just walks into M's office like, all right, what's the new mission? And M's like, all right, here it is. Digital corrupt brainwaves. Artificial intelligence pulses, the bad kind, traveling through virtual highways. Terrorist, programmable bullet guns. Hacking explosions. And you're just sitting there like, well, gee, I don't know how 007's gonna get out of this one. Okay, so here's a whole gang of people. I'm sure there will be some dialogue here that will clear all this up.
A crisis. Programmable virtual reality.
We have evidence of the largest cyber and terror attacks ever planned.
Programmable DNA.
This is very serious.
Homeland Security is ready.
We are on the verge of mind hacking.
Programmable matter.
We will all be connected telepathically.
Special agencies are prepared.
Oh, well, why didn't you just say that in the first place? I mean, when you put it like that, it's crystal clear. It's just a bunch of people sitting around a table just saying two words. Like that's really what this is here. It's just, nobody's actually saying anything. I've said this before, but one of my biggest criticisms with Neil's films is his dialogue. It's either beating you over the head with exposition, or it's way too cryptic for anyone to understand except Neil. Here, you have a room with 8 people, and there's no interaction. It's just one by one, each of them making a short statement that doesn't make any sense. Just look at this, all right? Now, doesn't this look like a collection of random quotes from action movies? It's not. This is the dialogue from the scene. Cade starts talking about facial recognition data because why not? Let's just try and get every single tech-sounding term into this movie as possible. And again, some of the compositing here is okay, and then it's not. Something here where a skull changes color for whatever reason. Good luck figuring that out. And then we have this interaction where Cade bumps into this woman.
Excuse me, I'm so sorry.
No,
I
it's okay,
apologize.
It's okay, I got it.
No. Here, let me get that for you.
Hey, shoot.
Wait, it's my fault. It's my fault, really.
Give me my
I
paper.
apologize.
Just leave me alone.
Let me make
Leave
it
me
up
alone.
to you.
No.
I'll take
You're
you
a
out to
creep.
dinner.
Leave me alone. I have a boyfriend.
Let's have
Get out of my
let's
face.
have a
Leave me
drink.
alone.
Let's have a drink.
Leave me alone.
Let's have
I have a boyfriend.
I'll meet
Get
you
out of my
back
face.
here at 8 o'clock
Get out of
and
my
we'll go out and have a drink.
Go.
I'll meet you here at 8 o'clock. I bet she comes back at 8 o'clock.
I'll meet you back here at 8 o'clock. Like, I love after all of that. Yeah, I'm pretty confident she's gonna come back here at 8 o'clock. So then this homeless man and his obviously fake rats get a visit by a character who has appeared in many of Neil's films, the mysterious Man in Black. Now, I don't know how reliable this information is, but I've heard rumors that this is actually Neil in disguise. So then Cade actually comes back at 8 o'clock and sounds disappointed that she didn't show up, as if there is any hope. But here comes the real twist. Cade sees the woman and decides to stalk her as she goes home.
Hey, that's the girl I met earlier. I'm going to go follow her.
Now, I have no idea where Neil was going with this or what he thought turning the audience against the character would achieve, but it gets worse.
I'm gonna hurt you now. You're mine now. I'll teach you to ignore me. You were supposed to meet me at 8. Bitch. You can't fight me.
I think this is probably the darkest that Neil has ever gone in one of his films. I honestly never saw it coming, but I guess it's a good thing there's that picture frame conveniently lying on the couch that you can use as a method of defense. Again, this narration, it's so confusing. Like, who is this for? And just when you thought the cringe of this whole situation was too much, this happens.
Get over here. What's for dinner?
Your favorite. Mom called today.
Tell Mom I said hi.
So, they're a couple? Like, this was all for fun? What? What was the point of all of this? What about what happened in front of the homeless guy? Why did they pretend not to know each other? This was all an act? Did they rehearse this? Why do this? Why destroy the picture? Am I overthinking all of this? Have I been doing this show for too long? I mean, what have I become? Who have I become?
Who am I?
What am I? Nah, I'm probably just overthinking it. So Cade's brother Kale is a drug addict who also, I don't know, kidnaps and tortures businessmen in his spare time. Speaking of which, what is going on here with this guy's face? Is he wearing a piece of paper with the mustache drawn on it? Also, I guess this is supposed to give the idea that he's captured a bunch more people. It's just too bad that they used a picture of the same guy over and over and over again. Now he's gone to just straight murdering people out in the open. Good attention to detail though, picking up the shell casings. Too bad you missed dropping a syringe in the exact same spot Cade and his wife work together apparently, in an office that I can only guess is suffering from some sort of light bulb shortage. I don't see why it's necessary to have an entire scene dedicated to them awkwardly kissing in a meeting room. You know, for some reason, every time he's kissing somebody on screen, it makes my skin crawl. And I don't mean that, I'm not trying to be a jerk here. It's just something about it. It's just like, ugh. Like I just, ugh. Ah, stop. Ugh. Ah. Ugh. Okay, this is getting ridiculous now. This mustache is taped on his face. You know, fake mustaches are really not that expensive. I'm pretty sure you can pick them up at the dollar store. And the best part is, they don't have a reflection. Look, these are like dollar store fake mustaches. Dollar store. They're super inexpensive. And the best part is, there's no reflection. You can get like a whole boatload of them here. Don't ask me why I have these. Cade takes his wife out on a date to a restaurant, clearly after it's closed.
I hear the food is spectacular. The service is impeccable. It's just friggin' invisible.
Okay, I'm pretty sure your husband needs some serious psychiatric help. I mean, the evidence is really piling up here, isn't it? I think the stalking rape fantasy would raise some red flags, but hey, if you're into it, you know, knock yourself out. However, this has got me wondering, is this man insane or just insanely cheap?
I bought you a present.
You did?
I did.
A candle. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Could you imagine after the joke about the restaurant, she's just sitting there like, haha, okay, so we're actually gonna go to a place that's open now, right? I mean, I didn't eat because you said a candle. Nice. This is where Kale finally confronts Cade, and I mentioned this in the pass-through video. Neil, if you're gonna change the angle, you've gotta change the angle of the background as well. Otherwise, this doesn't make any sense. It would also help if Kale was actually looking at Cade when he's talking to him. So they find the syringe Kale left behind, which is surprising since the police are incredibly inept in this movie. But it turns out Kale's DNA is unidentifiable. Kale goes back home to his girlfriend, and here's where we get one of the most hilarious on-screen fights I've ever seen.
Take it. What the hell are you doing?
Oh. I don't even want you anymore! All I want is the drugs and the money! Oh my God.
Come back here. Straighten up. We're both up.
I don't care, I don't want you anymore!
Then Kale leaves and the police are there chasing him? What? They disappear around the corner and that's it. So, what happened? Like, obviously they didn't catch him because suddenly he's back in the businessman dungeon, but why didn't they catch him? He was right there. As you'd expect, I have no idea what's going on here. There's some guy with a bowl of diamonds, cat statues that change positions, and a constantly changing scarf. From the narration, I don't know, I guess this is some guy named Kuz who wants to take over the Earth by taking biochemical and cyber control of our life systems. And the movie just goes on like this. Like, it's just a constant rambling of things that don't make any sense. None of it's coherent. At no point do you ever get a real, even a slight grasp on what's going on or is supposed to be going on. I mean, I shouldn't even be surprised because this is just par for the course in terms of Neil's movies. But the funny part in this scene is that Neil's acting makes it look like he has no idea what's going on either. And it just keeps adding more to the pile. For almost 45 minutes, we've heard about cyber DNA programming, mind hacking, alien powers, national security, terrorist attacks, and now taking control of the Earth through biochemical cyber control of life support systems. So why not throw in a fairy and a disappearing video inside of a picture frame?
You are so incredibly brilliant. You mean the world to me.
Okay, wait, what? So is this all taking place on a different planet? Why are there 2 moons? I also love how Cade sneaks into the building, which he says is the center of the whole operation, by just opening the door. I mean, there's guards with gas masks and assault rifles inside. You know, you'd think there'd be a deadbolt somewhere in this place, but apparently not. Cade is just able to go wherever he wants. Wait, maybe the doors are locked and he's unlocking them with his magic alien artificial intelligence powers right there.
Kuz's biological mutant warfare plans must be stopped.
Okay, so these plans involve mutants as well? How about just telling us what the plans are? Just tell us one of the plans, just so that we get an idea of what is supposed to be happening here, because otherwise, this is just a movie about Neil Breen walking around in dark rooms and pretending to be 2 people at once by wearing a fake mustache that looks like it was made with an inkjet printer. I don't know what's going on here. Neil stumbles into a Blues Brothers convention or something. I'm guessing that from the diamonds and the scarf that this is supposed to be Kuz, but this isn't even the same actor. So Cade makes a run at him, but suddenly stops and watches him disappear for almost 10 seconds. And then suddenly acts like, oh, what the hell just happened? Where'd he go? Kale seems to be really taking his time torturing these businessmen and just shooting them over and over again. But why? What did they do? Why do you want to kill them so much? And if you want to kill them so much, why don't you just kill them? Why are you dragging this out so long? And is there only 3 guys in here? Is that it? Because then what did this shot from before mean? Anyways, Kale goes back to his loving girlfriend and we get yet another scene for the all-time list.
These are yours, bitch.
That's not enough. I need more than that.
We're done.
I'm done with you.
We're done. We're done. We're done.
I'm done with you.
By the way, I didn't edit that. That's the scene. The mysterious man in black visits a brothel, I guess, and then leaves a rose near a bike rack. Good luck figuring out what any of this means, but now the action starts as Cade sabotages the pipeline system. Just check out his smooth secret agent moves. I mean, I don't understand why he's still sneaking around. He's already set off explosives and there's obviously no one here. And again, perspective is all wrong here. This is the side of the building. So unless one of his powers is having magnetic feet, this makes no sense at all. Look, he's on the side of a pipe here. Come on. I also love the effect of jumping up downwards. So I guess it's all over now. Don't know why this beach shot is here again. I mean, nothing has been resolved with his brother. And I guess this means he can go back to his life amongst nature and seducing birds of prey. The man in black goes to the homeless guy and stabs a rectangular block in his pants. Not sure what that was about. I'd like to say that there's more to this movie, but really it's just more of the same. Stock footage shots, scenes that make no sense. However, they still provide some really great Neil Breen moments.
Who's there? Who's there? I know somebody's there. Who are you? What do you want? You're a traitor! You're a traitor! You betrayed us! You betrayed us! You betrayed me!
I have no idea who that is. That's literally the first time that character has appeared in the movie. There's a shot here where the ferry goes into a theater room where Neil's last film is playing, and then there's some shoes with diamonds in them. One of the cat statues turns around, Cade and his wife shoot each other, I don't know. There's some crying, something else with the alien head, and then Neil rips off E.T. Okay, I think that's enough. You know, one of my biggest criticisms of Neil has been that I never get the sense that he's actually learning from his past attempts at filmmaking, and this is just more proof of that. I would actually argue that his movies are getting worse and less coherent. I mean, at least in his last film, Pass Through, there was some attempt to make it about getting rid of drug dealers and corruption and just bad people.
Remove corrupt and harmful politicians and leaders from all over the world. Don't wait for a failed bureaucratic system to help you.
But with this, I have no idea what's going on at any point throughout the movie. Some alien with a scarf wants to take over the Earth by controlling our cyber life support systems. Like, nothing fits at all. Nothing really comes close to making any sense. In terms of pure entertainment value, Fateful Findings is still at the top of the list.
I can't believe you committed suicide. I cannot believe you committed suicide. How could you have done this? How could you have committed suicide?
I mean, as I said before, there's still some great Neil Breen moments in this film. And at the end of the movie, it says that Cade will return. So I guess there's that to look forward to. By the way, as a side note, just want to thank everybody for watching and supporting the show. I started the channel 9 years ago now. It's crazy to think that it's been that long. This coming year, I would like to actually try and hire some people to maybe help out with the editing and whatnot. So thank you for supporting the show, and especially everybody on Patreon. Thank you so much for all your support, because I'm going to be using that money to put into hiring people to help me work on the show, so that in 2020 I can release a lot more than like 10 or 12 videos throughout the year. I'd like to do twice that. Quite frankly, I'd love to get the show to a point where I can release a video every 2 weeks and begin to produce a different show that I've been working on and get that out, but we'll see what happens in 2020. Also, to my Patreon supporters, please make sure to check my posts, because you will be getting early access to the videos, a few days before they come out. I just wanted to give you that as a thank you for supporting the show. And as usual, thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time.